trained by his father. Junior didn't actually start boxing until he was 17 years old, but he's quite the athlete. He was a standout as a basketball player, played baseball, picked it up really quickly. He's used to moments like this being with his father, being that his father was on these stages many, many times. He feels that Callum Walsh has been carefully selecting his opponents and is sort of a byproduct of marketing, and he feels more than ready for the moment. This is his first time that he's coming in as an underdog. He's 3-0 against Southpaws, and he's 15. He's got 15 knockouts out of his 17 fights, so the kid can definitely punch.
Yeah, and Mario, worth noting here that it's his brother Emiliano who's the hot prospect. You have a chance right now to change that narrative.
Well, that's another thing, is fighting under the shadow of both your fathers and one of your younger brother, who really is quite the standout.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with the bar decision. We were on the same Olympic team, really proud of these guys.
This is exactly the kind of fight that's missing from boxing. Two young, undefeated guys who are still prospects. And I guarantee you, if they fight well, neither of them will lose. They'll both benefit from the shine they get out of this.
King Collins swept Walsh, man. 14-0, 11 KOs, ending an 84-day layoff. Here's a kid with a lot of confidence. He's Ireland's favorite son, but he's made his home here in America. He's headlined 10 of the last 11 fights right here in the States. And if he can beat the young Fernando Vargas Jr., there's a star in the making.
Inspired.
Hey, and look, Fernando Vargas Jr. has his man on stage, but Callum Walsh has his Uncle Dana there. That is Dana White's pet project. This guy is sold out. The theater in Madison Square Garden is a big attraction, and Dana White believes in him.
And now we're going to take a closer look at the two boxing legends in our main event.
The ultimate promise of sports is simple. The best must meet the best. It's what every fan demands. It's what every era remembers. Tonight, two of history's greatest step into the same arena and put legacy against legacy. When greatness meets greatness and the dust settles, who will remain standing?
How many fighters have ever been called the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world? There haven't been that many, ever. These are two of them. Canelo Alvarez, the biggest star in boxing, faces Terrence Bud Crawford, a man who still holds the distinction in the minds of many as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Crawford on top of the mountain, trying to finish the deal. It's over.
I want to be remembered as one of the all-time greats. And I gotta go through Canelo to do it.
Crawford is fighting a guy 3 divisions bigger, and he's a killer. But Crawford's special. Fighters like Crawford come every now and then. He's a different breed.
¿Boda con lluvia de arroz?
¿O boda con lluvia de queso? Con queso es mejor. Cheesy Top Pepperoni con extra queso a solo 139 pesos. Solo en Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
Todos sabemos que una infección causada por hongos puede ser intensa. Ginostat Clotrimazol Crema 2%. Puedes tratar la candidiasis por 3 días consecutivos. Y para calmar la comezón y prevenir la irritación, prueba Bensal Crema Diaria con avena.
Nobody in this world is untouchable.
I ain't scared of shit. I stepped to him and showed him who's the boss of this fight.
All hail the king.
This is my era, and ain't nobody gonna stop me.
You are just like everybody else.
It's gonna be one of my best victories in my career.
We're gonna make history. James Crawford, 3-time undisputed champion of the world.
I'm gonna win.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It really goes with his personality, Mark, because he's never backed down from any challenge. And he looks more well prepared than ever.
for Todos, Crawford. And his opponent, Canelo.
He's challenged himself on a higher weight. He's now facing pound for pound, arguably the best fighter in the game. That's why it means so much to their legacy.
167.
Both of these guys are really like what I saw from the scales, man. The fight of the century. Wow.
Man, he just cut up his Nino Coppinger.
I mean, I'm making hearing out of Terence Crawford and Canelo are the same size, but they clearly are. Like lines.
Yeah. But I'm surprised.
Crawford has always been a strong individual, even if it doesn't translate necessarily to his fists and strong strength. You can't move him around. He's got that country strength, if you will, and he's very strong when you go inside on him.
And Mario, in every boxing match, a fight has broken out. And I believe when the fight breaks out, I think Terence Crawford's mentality is going to give him the edge in this fight.
I think that Crawford thinks of himself as the bigger fighter. He's also the kind of guy that's wrestling strength. When he wrestled as a kid, he's really good at, he refuses to be manhandled.
You're exactly right. Again, a credit to his strength.
Yeah, look, I don't think his strength is going to be the issue with Terence Crawford. We saw that round 2 against Errol Spence. He threw him across the ring. He's really strong.
You look like you trained for speed. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I train for everything. I get back in basic. I need to put everything in this fight.
Thank you, Canelo. And we got Terence Bud Crawford making his way over here. Bud, you weighed in at 167.5 pounds, by far the heaviest of your career. How does it feel?
Lovely. I feel wonderful. I can't wait until tomorrow.
Thank you, Bud.
So, gentlemen, we saw two guys who look incredible at the scales, but because he looked great at the scales, it doesn't necessarily mean he'll be able to handle that weight effectively. We're going to find out tomorrow night. Of course, everything about Bud.
In less than 24 hours, that's what you're feeling. We're going to
Like I was saying, Mike, Charlo, Brooke, Khan, they all look great on the scales, but it ended up catching up with them later on in the ring.
Yeah, look, I think the key to this fight, Mario, is that Canelo's power is going to be a lot of trouble to deal with. He goes to the body, he goes to the chin. Like I said earlier, everyone knows that when he's teaching you to throw those feints, he wants you to throw everything hard. So if he gets wrong, it's night-night.
Hey, I hear you guys talking a lot about Charlo. That was a fight that Crawford watched very intensely, up close, ringside. And by then, he was full-on scouting Canelo. That's the guy he wanted. And he says there's a big difference between himself and a lot of the recent opponents Canelo has faced. A guy like Charlo, this is Crawford talking, said his victory was surviving. His victory was going 12 rounds. I'm going there to take him out.
Well, that's been the case for a lot of guys, Antonio. They're happy to show up. They're happy to collect the paycheck, but no one has really dared to win. I think that's going to be different with Bud tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I think Canelo is going to feel that this guy, this young man, this man is more determined than anybody I've ever been in there with. And like I said, he's a sharp puncher. That's a different feel than just these guys landing. He got GPS on his punches. He knows exactly where they're going. And that makes Bud Crawford a dangerous fighter tomorrow night. He could be stronger than Canelo physically.
Well, if we're basing it off those last fights, we saw Canelo win against a very active William Skull in the sixth set where it was more of a track meet. Was he a little long in the tooth? Is he now somewhat incapable of being able to cut off the ring? Or does Bud, with the extra weight, does that weigh on him? Will that come into effect in the later rounds and he'll slow down and tired and get caught with something?
Well, I just want to add on that. It's his intensity. He has to keep that intensity up. And a lot of times he starts slow. He throws one punch at a time. That ain't going to get it done with Terrence Crawford. He's going to have to go back to cutting that ring off and throwing combination punches if you want that power to be effective tomorrow.
Terrence Crawford was really frank with me the other day about his game plan. I said, listen, I'm not the A side. I understand that. The crowd's going to be with Canelo. I have to presume that the judges will be with Canelo. What that means is he can't do what he usually does, Crawford. He cannot start slow and download all the information. He's got to get on him from the jump. He admitted this to me. He says, not only do I have to bank rounds, I have to win them decisively. And this is not going to be a friendly crowd for him.
And you know, Mike, that's the thing. If Terrence gets off to a fast start and Canelo lets him, he tends to tire a little towards the end. That may catch up if, in fact, that's the case and Bud is able to withstand those extra pounds.
Yeah, look, now Terrence Crawford has all this extra weight on. Weight makes you burn out faster. So I think Canelo Alvarez is going to have a better second half of the fight. I do think Terrence Crawford is going to be up on the card going into it. And I just think that not enough people are talking about Canelo Alvarez's power. He's dropped 4 of his last 5 opponents. William Skull was running around the ring. And that fight was at 6 in the morning. It was a little tough. It was in Riyadh. I also want to mention here, Canelo Alvarez wasn't at his best shape against William Skull. That fight was 4 months ago. He told me in training camp that he's always better in September than May.
You know, there's only one time in my career that I felt going into a fight that I had to knock a man out. I knew I couldn't go to the judges. And I believe Terrence Crawford here in Vegas feels the same way about Canelo. He feels he may have to knock Canelo out to get this victory tomorrow.
He's going to go for it. He's going to go for it. I know that he's been talking about for a while now, something I've never seen a weakness in, but Canelo's shape. And that's the difference in temperament between Terrence Crawford and all these other guys that he's been facing for the last few years.
And Mark, as we hear this mariachi music and Vicente Fernandez play, the fact that it is Mexican Independence Day weekend, and it's going to be at the peak, really, of the year where the biggest fight sort of happened. Canelo's been in this moment many times, and he has so much pride with the country literally riding on his back. Will Bud be a little bit overwhelmed by the moment? I know he's been on the big stages, but it's a different thing when you're facing Canelo, especially in this weekend.
I don't think that he'll be overwhelmed by the moment. I think this is the moment that he's been asking for. He's finally got it. You don't ask for something like this if you think you're going to be overwhelmed. I think that on the other side, this is a high-value target, a great fight, a fight that can change boxing history. I think that Canelo will get up for it in a way that, listen, if I'm Canelo, I'm fighting William Scull in the middle of the night. I'm not really getting up for that. You give me Terrence Crawford who's calling me out, yo, bring it, come on.
Especially on this weekend, Mike. I mean, he's always in shape, but he looked really dialed in tonight.
Yeah, and look, Mario, you said all about Terrence Crawford's a dog. I've heard it about 1,000 times this week alone. Canelo Alvarez didn't get to this point in his career because he's not prideful. He hears everybody picking Terrence Crawford, and he wants to prove them wrong. I think even if he has lost just a little bit of a step, he has one last great fight in him.
And that's the thing, Antonio. They're both dogs, like Mike said. They both got that mean streak. They both know how to finish strong, and they both have a lot of pride. So on paper, it should be an incredible fight.
Most definitely incredible. Not only that, I'm expecting the unexpected tomorrow night, bro. You feel me?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to make it even more better, and it's live right here on Netflix, man. The fight of the century.
Do you know how big an ego you need to do? No, seriously. You need to be kind of crazy to step in there from the jump. But in a fight like this, to ask for what Crawford's asked for, you got to be a little bit nuts. And I mean that with great admiration. But think about what he's doing at his age. I don't know what the mega fight precedent for this is, but he's almost 38. Ray Leonard was 32 when he fought Hagler. Spinks, 29 when he went up against Holmes. Pacquiao, 30 when he fought De La Hoya. A guy to go up that much at this point in his career is really rather extraordinary.
And what's
he's Superman.
Well, you know what? And he should, because he essentially jumped 3 weight classes. He made a pit stop on 154. And dare I say, he looked rather pedestrian that night. It was a very close, tough fight. Now you're asking him to go up yet another 2 weight classes against the undisputed champion who's had many fights there, elite fighter, on Mexican Independence Day, on the weekend. It's a tall task.
And look, it was a very close fight against Israel Madrimov. Madrimov's a good fighter, but again, that was a